What's up, emotionally compromised people of YouTube? So today I want to talk to you guys about anxiety attacks and panic attacks, because that's something I'm actually going through, and I have been going through it for a couple years now. And I don't know if anyone is going to watch this, if anyone gives a fuck, but I'm making this video, I guess, like it's a informative video, right? Plus I'm kind of documenting my trials and tribulations as I'm going through it, you know? So I'm gonna start off by saying, like, the system has kind of been broken. The medical system in the United States, it's been really fucked up and broken just before COVID. I can't even say it's COVID that broke it, but ever since the opioid epidemic, doctors have really been on edge about medication, right? But wrongfully so. I completely disagree with, you know, the opioid epidemic that's happened, right? And how it contributes to my panic attacks. It directly contributes because the medication I drink is also a controlled substance. So they're all weary about this shit, right? Now, for me, my panic attack started, I had a heart attack. Nothing severe. It was severe enough where it caused slight damage that got healed within a few days. It was due to an irregular heartbeat, and I had a heart attack. It happens. And it happened to me young, like 30 years old, right? So the following day, I had full-blown panic disorder, like extreme. I never knew what anxiety was in my life. And I've studied psychology and all that. I know all the things about it, but to have actually felt the feeling of anxiety, I had never felt that feeling before in my life. I've had a panic attack once before, but it was nowhere in comparison to the panic attacks I get now. The panic attacks I get now are identical to heart attacks. And it's really weird. And in my case, my panic attack isn't, I don't really have a trigger. Like some people have triggers, right? Like it might be them driving on the freeway or driving or being on a certain street or something like that. Mine just happens, and then I have to go along with this fucking ride. But why did I start this off with the system is fucking broken, right? So within 2 weeks, like a week and a half, 2 weeks, they gave me Ativan, 0.5 milligrams of Ativan once a day. That didn't help at all. I was still going to ER, so they jumped it to 1 milligram a day, and then 1 milligram twice a day, and then 1 milligram 3 times a day, and then it was 2 milligrams once a day, and then 2 milligrams twice. And then, so in a week and a half, I went from half a milligram to 2 milligrams 4 times a day. And it finally stopped me from having panic attacks. And now it's been, I think, like 3 years, something like that. I'm having anxiety disorder and panic disorder and shit, right? And my dosage has not gone up or down. They told me that I'm gonna get addicted to it, and that eventually I'm gonna need more because it's not gonna do the job, and whoop-de-whoop. And yeah, there are still times I get panic attacks randomly, right? But I've always, in my personal life, like prior to all this shit, I've always been really athletic, really strong, really fast. I've just been naturally gifted, and I took advantage of the gifts I had, right? That said, once I got out of the hospital from my shooting incident, right? I came out the hospital like 110 pounds, full body atrophy and shit. My stamina was gone. My endurance was gone. My strength was gone. Everything was fucking gone. I had to rebuild everything. And that's exactly what I did. As soon as I got out the hospital, I told my friends, man, you know what? I've always been on the skinny side of life. I want to be big. I'm going to get big and bulky. Like, just really muscular. That's going to be my goal. And I set out, and I'm now, at this current moment, I'm like 190 pounds. Not very much fat on me. And the problem I'm facing is, even though I exercise and do all this stuff, the cardio shit has never been my thing. And I know it takes cardio to increase my endurance and my stamina, right? When I say stamina, I'm not talking about fucking. I'm talking about, like, how long can you run? Like, how long can you hold your breath, right? Like, my stamina is gone. I have none. Like, I could barely hold my breath. Where before, I could just hold my breath and do laps under the water, in the pool. So, I'm talking to my psychiatrist or psychologist, whatever the fuck he is, right? He's the one that can prescribe you medications. I forgot which one he is. But, so I told him, hey, bro, like, every month I talk to him once a month. It's over the phone, of which you don't really get shit out of it over the phone any fucking way. But he's the one that's prescribing my medication, and therefore I have to talk to him whether I like it or not. And I don't really mind talking to him, but it's also not going fucking anywhere. And then today I had this conversation with him, and I was telling him, look, man, I told you last time we talked that even though I exercise, if I go too hard on my exercise and I overstrain myself, away from the physical pain that I have, that I carried over from being shot and then them doing surgery and having nerve damage and all this shit, like, when I overstrain my body doing exercises, I realized that later that day or the next day, sometimes even the day after, I have a panic attack, right? And like, it was kind of like an epiphany. Like, I kind of like just realized, like, holy shit, these two things are kind of related, so I'm always trying not to overstrain myself or overwork out. So me being me, I decided, fuck that, I'm gonna lean into this shit, like, I'm just gonna fucking steer into this, like, full throttle. So I go, and for the first time, I go and I get a gym membership to 24-hour fitness, and I decide to go hard on the pain, man. And I go to the gym. Today would be the 7th day, and for the first 4 days, I went and just, did the full body workout. And then after the workout, I hit the punching bag for like 5-10 minutes just to build up some stamina. And then for the last 3 days, I've been going twice a day, and I go and, like, just get my full body exercise in and then go hit the punching bag, And I'm telling my therapist person, I'm telling them, like, I realized that I had to take extra medication in order to be able to do that. And my plan was that, okay, I can go hard on the paint for like for like a week, and then I could go back to just taking my medication like I usually do. So instead of 4 times a day, I'll do 5 times a day, go hard on the paint. At least let me get this exercise shit, like, out of the picture, right? Because I've always been strong, fast, all this shit, and it's like, I'm not about to let this shit fucking hold me back. Fuck that, like, I'll just go hard on the paint, and whatever happens, right? But he told me, like, hey, dude, like, I'm glad, you know, you took an initiative and you decide to steer into it rather than running away, which most people do. I'm glad you did that, but I'm not glad you increased your dosage. And if you tell me one more time that you've increased your dosage from 4 times a day to 5 times a day, you're gonna have to find a different doctor. I am no longer gonna be the doctor that prescribes you this medication. I told him, okay, I understand. I hear you. If that's what you're telling me, okay, I hear you. That's fine. But in my head, I'm thinking, no, it's not fucking fine. It's not fucking fine because I'm trying to have a fucking normal life here, okay? And there's more information I need to give about this, right? Like, he's told me before that I am the person that drinks the most amount of Ativan. From all his patients, I'm the only one that drinks 2 milligrams 4 times a day. I am the person with the highest Ativan intake, which is a benzodiazepine, right? But I also told him, like, well, it's not like I got used to it and then, you know, over months we increased the dosage. No, this is what started helping me, and I've sustained that dosage this entire time, which you thought I wasn't even going to be able to sustain, but I did sustain it. Now, I've told him, but obviously he doesn't believe me. I've told him, listen, people in my family, like especially my dad, like I've taken after my dad in terms of it takes a lot more medication than the normal person for it to affect me or my dad. So let's say if it's pain medication, like there's been tons of time I'm stuttering. There's been tons of times my dad's been at the hospital and I had to go and tell the nurse, listen, this man, he's never abused medication in his life. There's no reason why he should have a tolerance. But this man naturally has a higher tolerance to medication. And by tolerance, I don't mean like he can consume more. What I mean is like it takes more for it to take effect. That was the case when they tried to put him under to do surgery on him. They had to give him more than the normal person so that he can like finally pass out. Like same thing with the pain, like give this man extra medication because the regular amount is not going to help him. If you give him like just a regular pain medication, you have to double it, you know? If it's not doubled, you might as well not give it to him. So I always make sure, and my sister also makes sure to tell the doctors, like, okay, man, this guy has just a natural fucking thing. We don't know what the fuck it is, but that's the fucking situation. And that's the situation with fucking me. And obviously, him being the doctor, he's gonna be weary of it, but the fact is the fact, man. Like, whether you believe me or not, I could really give a fuck less. What matters is that's what's helping me, and what matters is I'm trying to fucking get better. I honestly thought like this dude would be like, okay, great, man. I'm glad you decided to go ahead on and try and do something rather than, oh, you realize exercising kind of triggers your thing later on down the line. Most likely due to the fact that like it exhausts me. And because I'm exhausted, like, I guess I'm more prone to panic attacks at that moment, you know? So I thought he'd be like, okay, I'm glad you fucking joined the gym and you're going head on. I understand, you know? Like if I was at like, let's say 1 milligram once a day and that's what was helping me. And I told him, hey bro, like I went to 1.5 milligrams a day just for like a week or so and shit, you know? So just until I get all my shit in. just until I get all my eggs in like one basket, right? He would have probably been like, okay, that's fine. But because I'm the person that he's providing the most amount of the medication, he's worried about himself, right? It's the same thing with like this opioid epidemic that occurred. The problem wasn't that these doctors were giving patients pain medication, right? Like, pain medication is the basis of all medication, okay? Ever since the fucking caveman days, it was pain medication that made it possible to pull a tooth out, or fix a tooth, or fix a broken bone, or cut someone open, or cut someone and fix them. Anything that had to do with pain medication has been around with us ever since the caveman days, okay? Like, if one plant is responsible for human beings being able to populate the planet, it's been the poppy plant, because we've gained morphine from it and all the other opioids, right? And the problem wasn't that doctors were giving people pain medication. You give people pain medication because they're in fucking pain, right? You have to give them pain medication. It just is what it is. It's not about like, but the problem is that you can't just give a person pain medication for like 6 months and then be like, oh, I'm cutting you off all your, like, just fucking cold turkey, just cutting you off. I think you've had enough. And it's like, no, you've built an addiction. You're supposed to wean a person, you know, like wean them off that shit, right? But no, they cut people off, and then what did people do? They had to go to the street, right? And they went to the streets and they would buy from fucking street pharmacists and shit. And if street pharmacists didn't have the pills, what did they have to do? They were fucking, they would resort to fucking things like heroin and shit, you know? And that's what created the fucking epidemic. It wasn't that they were prescribing pain medication, it's that they were carelessly cutting people off, knowing there was going to be a consequence. It's just that once they cut people off, it was like, okay, bye, I'm never going to see you again, so go fuck yourself, and the pain you're in and the addiction you're now in that I helped cause, right? But no, there's a way for everything. Like, you know, you break your leg, they put it in a fucking cast, and then when they take the cast off, they don't fucking smack you in the ass and say, you know, go run a fucking marathon. They say, take it easy, bro. Your foot just came out of cast. Why don't you wrap it with something else until you build some strength back in it, and then you could slowly exercise it back to health and whatnot. And in 6 months to a year, you'll be back to your normal self, right? So, but no, they were doing the opposite. Go run a marathon, motherfucker. We don't give a fuck if you just got out the fucking cast. Now, with this fucking coronavirus bullshit, you're no longer even able to see the doctor in fucking person. So this one-on-one communication of like all the nuances of seeing someone in person, looking someone in the eyes, looking at someone and hearing them and seeing all their gestures, because we don't just talk with our voices, we talk with our bodies. Our faces talk, right? There's a whole like linguistic fucking thing associated with subtle gestures, right? With subtle gestures, we say so much. It's a second language that's natural to us humans, and you're missing that over the phone. And you have this prick telling me like, oh, next time you tell me you took too much medication, I'm gonna cut you off. I didn't even ask you for more medication, bro. I just told you the fucking truth. It's like, okay, fine. Now, from now on, damn, I thought that dude was gonna hit my side mirror. Like, from now on, like, I just won't tell you if I ever drink one more than I should have. That's all. Basically, he told me, dude, just lie to me next time. That's what I fucking heard from him. I heard from him, bro, just next time you do that shit, just keep it to yourself. Shut the fuck up about it, and I don't want to know. That's what he said. This is the person that's trying to fucking help me through this fucking situation I'm going through in my life, you know? And it's not an easy fucking thing to go through, you know? Because it's just not. It's debilitating in so many fucking ways, man. Like, and I'm not a person that's like, okay, fuck, I'm just gonna sit at home and nah, fuck that. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do my shit. You know, I'm gonna do my shit, and I've always been an extreme type of person anyway, and I'm gonna still be an extreme type of person. And it's weird, I'll still put myself in danger and do crazy shit, and I don't get panic attacks from doing none of that. So why am I having this fight or flight? Why is this fight or flight mechanism fucked up in my head when it's not fucked up in my head when it's actually time to fight or flight, right? Like, I'm cool when that's happening, but I'm not cool when I'm just fucking cool, just chilling there. Like, I'm not supposed to be having a panic attack just because I'm fucking chilling, you know? Or just because I'm driving, or just because I'm fucking whatever the fuck ever, right? And I'm kind of frustrated now. I'm lost with words, because I don't even know what the fuck to say about this, you know? I don't even know what the fuck to say about this. And I've told him, hey bro, like, is there any other fucking medication other than this Ativan and other benzos? Other than benzos, is there any other medication that actually helps with panic attacks and shit, you know? Because, like, obviously there's gonna come a time where I have to kind of get off this shit. And I told him, look, if I have to, I'll go to fucking rehab. You know what I'm saying? But I'd rather just lean off this shit, right? So is there any other medication that does a similar thing? And he's like, no, man, there really isn't. Whatever there is, you're on. There's a couple of antidepressants that supposedly help out, which I take, and they don't seem to fucking help out. The only thing that seems to work is fucking Ativan. So, alright, man. Now, what happens when it comes time to, like, I feel like, okay, look, all the panic attacks have gone away. I've become normal once again. Now it's time to lean off this shit, right? Like, what are you gonna do for me then, bro? Like, what are you gonna do for me then? You're gonna tell me, like, oh, I'm gonna cut your medicine down to this, and then what? If the addiction is too much to bear, and one day I decide to drink one extra fucking pill, you're gonna, like, just cut me off, and then I'm gonna have to go to the street? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. I expect more from our doctors, man, especially in the United States. Like, for fuck's sake, man, just because these people graduate fucking school, that doesn't make them that doesn't make them intelligent. It makes them educated, right? There's a big difference between intelligent and educated. They're just educated dumb people, bro. There's a lot of fucking uneducated smart people, right? We call it wisdom, right? Like, that's what we are. You're pretty wise, we say. It's like, but a lot of these people, man, I don't think it blows my mind. Like, how do you deal with people every fucking day, and yet you don't get the nuances? You don't understand the cause and effect of shit, or your level of empathy goes out the fucking window, you know? It's like, dude, in the last fucking year and a half, there's nothing you've told me of value, or however long I'm talking to this motherfucker. It's been like 2 years, some shit like that. Like, there's nothing of value you've told me. There's nothing of value any of the other doctors have told me. I already knew all that shit. It's like I'm having a panic attack. I know I told you I'm having a panic attack, bro. You're not giving me any additional information, man. Like a specific question I asked him, I was like, hey bro, like, can you actually explain to me why Ativan works? Like, if you ask me why pain medication works, like, if you ask me why does morphine and codeine and Norcos and Vicodin and all these opioids, right? Like, if you ask me why do they work, I can tell you exactly why they work. I could tell you why Advil works. I could tell you why Tylenol works. Can you tell me why Ativan works? Because if I understand how it works, I could fucking maybe desensitize my body to certain things, right? So, like, for example, opioids, what they do is, like, they create a barrier between your pain sensors, right? This barrier is temporary. It doesn't last forever, but what it does is it blocks the signal from going to your brain, right? It's like, think of it like numbing cream. It numbs out that area for some time. That's why pain medication works. Pain medication like Oxycontin and Norco and Vicodin and all these stuff. So one way you can do is, like, if you're in physical pain, you can desensitize the area, right? You can get it used to a certain amount of pain where your pain threshold goes up in that area. And there's numerous ways of achieving that. But he's not even able to tell me what the fuck Ativan does. And, like, dude, I'm not a fucking a pill specialist. You know, I'm not a medicine specialist. I studied psychology. Like, fuck. But fuck, bro, you're dealing with, I don't know, man. I don't even know why I'm making this fucking video. I'm just kind of upset about it, and I'm hoping, like, someone out there, like, for fuck's sake, bro, that's going through the same shit as me, can be like, hey, bro, I've gone through it too, and this is the end fucking result, or this is what I'm going through. You know, it's so fucking weird, man. Like, just to find other people that are going through the same thing as you, it's such a fucking difficult thing to do, man. Like, I've genuinely, like, even asked this doctor and some of my other doctors. I told them, listen, man, like, the way I grew up and the things I went through, like, I need to go sit down with veterans that have been to war and shit, and I need to talk with them and talk with these people that know what it's like to get shot, to be in predicaments where, like, you know, your life's on the line all the fucking time, and all the fucking shit that comes with that, right? And they have no idea where the fuck to point me towards, man. And I don't know, like, I don't know how to find these people, man. I really don't, because I'd love to sit and have, like, you guys seen Fight Club, you know, when it goes from, like, one sit down to another sit down, right? Like in the beginning of Fight Club, like, it goes to, like, testicular cancer, and then it goes to fucking whatever, right? Like, I'm sure there's gotta be like Alcoholics Anonymous for fucking veterans that are, you know, PTSD'd out, right? Like, what? I don't know, man. I really don't know. You guys have a fucking nice day.